All right, great. All right, so we're live on air now. Welcome everyone. Good morning once again, and it is a Google Plus Hangout for Channels Beam, and we're looking at the Fulani Herdsmen and the insecurity they pose allegedly now in Nigeria, because almost on a daily basis there are suspected attacks by a Fulani herdsman. It still remains an allegation unless these people are arrested and are brought to book and are being found guilty by the courts of law. But for now, let's just get a feeling of what is going on. Dachung Bagos, you're calling from Jos in Plateau State. Let me just start with you. Um,
Yeah.
what do you make of this situation? I mean, Fulani herdsmen, they're almost everywhere grazing with their cattle, but yet pose some sort of security threats, allegedly now again. But what do you know about this, and what can you say? What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's unfortunate what's actually happening on the plateau, especially in the plateau and the middle belt. You see the headsmen, well, they have been there now to be like a Marshall Plan, trying to take out the host communities, trying to overthrow the host communities in the name of grazing, in the name of cattle rustling. And you find out that wheresoever they move situation where we really don't know where this is coming from, because if it's about the Fulanis have been on the plateau for so long, but now we don't know how this situation has gotten this bad that these headmen kill our people on daily basis.
All right. But have you seen any effort by the security agencies, to stem the tide? Well, how would you say the security agencies have gone in trying to stem this tide?
Well, like on the plateau, we have the STF. The STFs are there, the police are there, and so on. To the best of my knowledge and ability, we only see checkpoints in different areas over the years, and you will see the security agencies, you will see their presence, but you will not feel impact in trying to get these situations solved, because you will see a checkpoint of military by a junction, but inside the village, people are being killed. Their impact are not felt, but their presence on daily basis. But the impact, seriously, there's that breach of trust between the security agencies and the communities, because the community people are being killed, but the security have not been able to condone such killings.
All right, very well. Like you said, the villages and the indigents are yet to come to terms with this thing. But I'll come back to you in a bit. Ndi, Kato, we see you as well now. But let me just come to Dachshund, to Edit. I beg your pardon. Unana, Edit, what do you make of this whole issue?
Okay, I'm not from the Middle Belt, but I'm a Nigerian, and I think this is a dangerous trend for the country, because if we ignore situations like this, or events like this, it could escalate and become something that is beyond control in the future. Where I first came across this actually on social media, I never knew that an event like this was, or issues like this was prominent in the Middle Belt. There have been reports of killings, of something that is being referred to as a genocide, and I think it's just a dangerous trend that should be nipped in the bud before it escalates beyond this point.
All right, I'm talking about nipping it in the bud. I'll come back to you to probably get some insights or nuggets on how to go about this. But let me come to Benedicta Cato. Benedicta, if you can hear me, good morning. Good morning. Well, Dachong Bagos and Ede Tunanao have just said some things about the goings on of goings on in North Central, especially North Plateau, where Dachang is calling from. And Edet is speaking as a concerned Nigerian. But what do you make of this whole issue? A lot has been said. The Fulani herdsmen, they graze almost everywhere in Nigeria, but pose suspectedly, allegedly now, some threat to the well-being of farmers and indigents of these locations where they graze with their cattle. What do you know about this, and what can you tell us?
Cattle rustlers. It's a syndicate, actually. It's a syndicate of people who do this. And yes, the normal grazing communities have been affected by cattle rescue. I had a case recently where they said that they get sent bullets in envelopes and telling them that they are coming to get them. They should, get ready. But in all this, none of this is reason enough for genocide. None of this is reason enough to kill a group of people. And keep in mind that for the people of the North Central, this is just another phase. I don't know if you understand. This is just another phase, because killings have been going on in the North Central for a very long time. It's either for political reasons, for religious reasons, many things that affect the North Central. Minority tribes get wiped out for many reasons. So this, for the North Central people, it's a long, continual death. It's not that, this is just beginning. No, it's for one reason or the other, and this is the latest reason. So for us, throwing up these excuses, it's a bit painful. We want the country to face this fair and square, and we are also particular about this time around perpetrators being brought to justice. It is very clear that this should stop, number one, and perpetrators should be brought to the law. We want to see at least one person arrested for what has happened in the North Central. So far, nothing.
Well, so far nothing, and I hope, just like you said, one person or a group of persons who are involved, are engaged in such acts, will be brought to book and justice as soon as possible, so that peace will reign in these places. But just before we continue, let me welcome Mr. Femi Jabude, if you can hear me. Good morning. Femi, if you can hear me, good morning. Well, Femi can't hear us, so let me just move forward to Mr. Ernie. Mr. Ernie, if you can hear me, good morning. All right, I'll still come back to you guys to sort this out. But now, Edith, let me just come back to you. You earlier made mention of trying to put this, in the right place, trying to stem the tide. But
Yeah.
what would you be suggesting? Because, like Dachang Bagas said, they see the military, they are on ground, they see them, they have checkpoints all around those places. He's calling from Plateau, and he says, you go around, you see checkpoints, but in the hinterland, in the villages, people get killed. What do you think should be a measure that should be put in place, to forestall this thing?
Okay. Firstly, when there are killings of this nature in any country, okay, it becomes a national issue. This is not an issue for just the Middle Belt, but it's a national issue, and the government should first and foremost carry out a detailed investigation into what is going on. The investigation should be open, and they should let the people of those communities and the general Nigerian public to know that they have taken an interest in this matter and they want to resolve it. A proper investigation involving all the security teams, not just the army, the DSS should be involved, and to find out why exactly this is going on. And they should even go back to trace historical situations where people have been affected and lives taken, and then they should come up with an appropriate plan, okay, to secure these communities. And the plan should also include a structure to resolve whatever challenges the Fulani herdsmen may be facing. It's possible that for some reason or the other, these herdsmen have challenges with their cattle and all, but that again is not the reason for genocide. That's not the reason for killing anybody. So I think the government can come up with a structure with the Ministry of Agriculture to resolve whatever challenges the herdsmen may be facing, while at the same time guaranteeing those communities security of their lives and their properties. Because it doesn't make sense if you have military presence around a community at the junction, and then people are still getting killed almost on a daily basis. And the truth about this killing should also be made public, and then and resolved once and for all. And most importantly, like Benedicta said, there should be arrests. People should be punished. It's almost incredible that killings like this go on week in, week out, and then nobody knows about it, and not a single soul has been arrested by the police or the army. It's really disheartening. So they need to carry out a detailed investigation and come up with a structure to resolve this issue once and for all.
All right, Edet, you say now the government needs to come in. But again, let me try to welcome Femi Jebudi, if you can hear me. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Femi. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, well, good to hear from you. We can't see you, but I hope you put on your video to be part. But I mean, a lot of water has gone under the bridge before you joined the hangout, and of course you met some parts of it. But what do you make of this? I mean, it's now becoming a trend, so to speak. Now, these killings by allegedly now suspected Fulani herdsmen in the north central and some parts of the northwest. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that these killings by so-called Fulani herdsmen cannot be divorced from the general insecurity in northern Nigeria. That's the first point that needs to be understood, that the general insecurity in northern Nigeria is part and parcel of the insecurity the killings by these Fulani herdsmen and the death squads. I think that's the more relevant term to use. That's a more appropriate term to use. Cannot be divorced from the general insecurity in northern Nigeria. Now, all of us know that for many years now, death squads have been roaming around northern Nigeria, killing people wantonly. A lot of it is attributed to Fulani herdsmen. But I think any intelligent person who analyzes the situation must come to the conclusion that that is untrue. That cannot be true. The scale of these killings, particularly in Jos, in Kaduna, and the nature, the fact that what we have here seems to run along religious and ethnic lines, where you have Christians being killed in southern Kaduna, or where you have Christians being murdered and reprisal killings in Jos, which is a city which is divided into, which has a very significant Christian population, I should say. Obviously, we cannot divorce all of that from what is going on in the Northeast, in particular in Borno State, so-called Boko Haram. And it seems to me that all of these killings, all of these deaths of fellow Nigerians like you and me and everyone who's on this hangout right now, it should concentrate our minds as to what is really going on. That is a fundamental problem, the fact that Nigerians don't think a lot and they don't analyze situations very carefully. So, to conclude, I think that this situation I'm not going to spend any time talking about Fulani herdsmen or pointing the finger at them. No, because that's not the real source of the problem. The real source of the problem is the fact that we live in a country whose government is in collusion, is in cahoots, is colluding either by omission or commission with these killings. That is the central point. And Nigerians cannot do anything about it. Nigerians seem unable to do anything about this.
Well, Now Femi is bringing a different narrative, but it seems Benedicta has something to say in response to what you just said. Benedicta, go ahead.
Mr. Victor, I would like to point out that I stated in my first the first response I gave that this has been continual killing. So this is a new phase. You do understand that in the North Central, it's not just these people. This is simply a new phase. Different reasons result in death for people in the North Central, people that would like to refer to as minority tribes. Elections come and go, they get killed. Religious happenings, they get killed. Drawings in random places, they get killed. So these people are being wiped out for one reason or the other. It's not, it's not a case where this time around we're just pointing hands at just one people and saying, oh God, you guys are doing this. No. This is just a new phase, and this phase has to be acknowledged. This phase has to be acknowledged like every other phase. You understand where I'm coming from? So if we're not going to call it as it is, or try to give a broad term and say no, this is what it is and all that, I've gotten people tell me that no, don't call it this, don't call it this, don't call it that. Well, for every step of the way, there have been different people coming to kill, and they all have different identities. The only identity that remains static is the people of the North Central that are dying. Those ones, it doesn't change. Minorities are the first to lose their lives in everything before it spreads, and then every calls, yes, not every. I want to make it very clear that not every Fulani person is a wandering murderer. I mean, there are innocent people. There are people we're willing to dialogue with over this. Even the Fulani chiefs are tired. They come for meetings and then they return, and then it happens again. And they attend meetings and everybody's looking at them, pointing the finger. You guys are doing this. You people are doing this. You people are doing that. And these things do not help their community either. But this time around, by the time you target this, it's very important that the community itself stands up and purges itself of these criminal elements. I don't know if I'm understood properly. If the community is uncomfortable with being tagged this, then it has to recognize that there are criminal elements that run into these other communities, do this, and then run back. So if they're not willing to purge themselves of these criminal elements, I don't know what else we can do. And then let's also look into the different cases in different states. In places like Taraba, it's when the killings of Tiv people happen, the displacements happen. We have cases this year where we get reports that displaced people trying to return are singled out in a community where other people live. Let's have that very clear. In a community where other people live in Taraba State, you have Jukun and other tribes. In those communities, Tiv people are singled out. In Plateau State, it was Birom, and everybody was like, oh, it's a Birom problem. Well, last week, Mango people had these attacks. And then we have it moving to the southeast, where people's farms are invaded, and if you complain, you get death in return. So it is good to actually call this out. Let us call this out. Let us face this particular phase that we are on. Let us have it out on the table. Let people discuss and realize that no, this cannot continue. If you just try to rope it in and generalize it with everything, this particular one, what will happen is that when everything is still open, let us point it out, it started before this Boko Haram menace, it will continue. So let's have that out of the way. If you want to generalize it, what will happen is after the Boko Haram is hopefully destroyed, we will still have these killings here and there in the North Central that would have hidden under that and will not be challenged, will not be faced. So I want that out of the way. We're not just thinking randomly here. We know what we're dealing with. Thank you.
All right, talking about wanting that out of the way, Dachang, let me just come to you. We're rounding up now. What do you think should be done to stem this tide?
Our elite and the security, we need them to push the political will, because I'm sure that all the security agencies have information of what really is happening. But the political will to execute whatever plan to be able to solve this problem is what is lacking. Because I wouldn't believe that our DSS and our military intelligence and our police don't have information to track down what is happening. But the political will from them to be able to execute nobody has been arrested up to now. This is like over 10 years. These killings have been going on and no one has been arrested. And you will say that they don't have information. So I they should be able to step up the political will to execute such arrests, to be able to execute whatever plan they have to be able to solve this problem. Because seriously, the country is going down in this way, and our leaders are seriously quiet about it. So we encourage our leaders to come out of their shield, exhibit that political will to be able to solve this problem. They don't know that once the middle belt is down, then the whole Nigeria is going to be down. So it's better now to be able to do something. People in the villages are tired. No, don't have people in the farms again. So they need that political will from them to be able to execute and to have peace in the middle belt as well.
All right. Femi, let me come to you also to get a possible solution to this crisis.
In terms of a solution, I think the first thing we need to do as Nigerians is to face the situation very clearly. My sister Benedicta made a couple of points earlier saying that we shouldn't generalize. No, I'm not generalizing. I need to make that clear. I'm just looking at the situation and analyzing the facts as they stand. If I may draw her attention to the fact that we didn't have this problem of Fulani herdsmen killing Christians or killing Hausa Fulani Muslim herdsmen killing Christians 10 years ago or 20 years ago. No, we did not. And if I may also remind her, and this is just a question of analyzing the situation carefully, Fulani herdsmen don't go around with AK-47s or automatic weapons. Of course they do not. Everybody knows this. So where are these so-called Fulani herdsmen getting these weapons, if indeed these killings are being perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen? That is what I say when I say we Nigerians don't think deeply or carefully enough about situations. And I think that is the first thing we need to do. And if I may also say this, Victor, I think the media in particular, the media you represent, have a great responsibility in the situation that we're confronted with in Nigeria today. And I say that because rather than getting the Nigerian masses to think carefully about the conditions that we live under and the situations we're facing, the media tends to go for very superficial answers, answers that don't really address the crux of the problem. Okay? So I think direct responsibility lies with the media for its failure to educate Nigerians as to, or to help guide Nigerians to a clear analysis of the problems facing us. The point I just made now about automatic weapons and Fulani herdsmen, why isn't the media making this type of point? Why aren't you journalists trying to educate Nigerians as to what is really going on? And I come back to the point I made again, and it stands, which is these killings and the insecurity in the north is being perpetrated by forces greater than Fulani herdsmen. That's what people need to understand. And it is up to every Nigerian to try to investigate those sources to find where are these people coming from? Who are these people going around killing Nigerians randomly?
All right, very well, Femi. Let me also come to you now to get your own closing statement. Now, looking at solutions. Edit, go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just about to share the same point with the previous speaker, I think Femi or so, that the media has a responsibility to investigate these issues and give us, okay, a broader perspective of these issues. Now, for instance, when I came across this on social media, I was extremely surprised that I've never seen this in the papers or in the news. I've never seen it making the headlines before. And I was extremely concerned, like, how come I'm just hearing about this on social media? And I declined to comment because of the nature of social media at the time. But as time went on, I began to see, things that were close to, will I say, evidences, okay? Not accusing anyone here, but there were pictures of killings, names of communities were being mentioned, family names were being mentioned, and also I think the media has a great responsibility to push these issues out there. We need to see it in the newspapers, in television, on radio. It needs to become an issue of discussion so that the entire population of Nigeria gets to know about this issue, and then maybe that's when the government will begin to take it serious. Because another issue is the level of silence. You hardly hear, government, the leaders and the people in the political class talking about these issues. It just seems like, to me, it seemed like a social media campaign at the time, until I began to realize that this was really a major issue. So I share Femi's point that the media needs to take responsibility for letting the Nigerian public know more about these issues. And I sincerely pray that the security agencies will step up their game. They don't need to wait for government. This is an issue of killings. Communities are being attacked and people are being killed. So I don't think the DSS and the police and the army should then wait until they get a directive from government before investigating these issues.
All right, thank you, Edith. Benedicta, let me come to you to close the conversation. I mean, now looking at ways to end this scourge.
We have to follow the trail. We have to follow the trail. There are elements, as we'll all say, that are behind all of this. Indeed, there are elements that are interested in, I would say, domination and political expansion, to put it lightly, and human lives are paying for it. So if we can follow this trail, that will be one thing. And the security agencies too, with respect to the operation in Jos over the years, it has been, should I use the term, monetized? So we have a lot of people not doing what they are supposed to do because, number one, it's quite, profitable. War is good business, and we've had several reports where members of our security forces have not really put in the attention they're supposed to put in to end this, because of how much is being generated from this. We also want we want that to be looked into. We want the government to pay close attention. Number one, and well, this brings us to the last election. I would like to be daring and put out that a lot of people from these regions were very concerned about the president, Mr. President Buhari, being that he's from this region. That was a major concern. Now let's not mistake this particular concern for hate. No, it's the fear that what would happen to us now. So we need Mr. President to assure these people that his presidency back and allow this happen. We need that reassurance. And for these people especially, I would the reason why a lot of us from this region, tend to try to isolate this problem is, at the time Boko Haram was started, going to Boko Haram, we were also shouting, look at what is happening here. But people shoved it aside as tribal problems, just this tribe and that tribe are having little issues here and there. So this is why we want this isolated, so that special attention again will be paid to this. That is my particular concern, because if the people of the North Central don't have that special attention, if it is generalized, there are deeper issues, political issues, appointments, many issues that dig deep when you go further into the North Central problem. Education, the whole, catchment area, federal character, the North Central, these minority tribes don't get as much attention as other people should get. So these are deeper issues when you go deep into it. That's why we are insisting on, a separation. Let people understand that this particular region. And another reason is the fact that outside of the North, few people know the divisions in the North. People don't know that, this group of people, this group of people, this group of people. No, they see us all as Hausa. So people need to understand the special case in the North, the different tribes, what is happening, and how we can stop this. If people don't understand these differentiations, they don't get it. A lot of people in Lagos don't understand. They're like, why are Hausa people killing each other? And they don't understand the different, the different bodies, the different groups and everything. And to stop this, I would need the media too. We need more attention in this. Everybody is playing safe. Nobody wants to touch that issue so as not to hurt people. we are really hoping that for once the media will step up to this and shine enough light. We want this to make headlines. We want this to make headlines. When we start making progress, then we can put it into the picture. But we want this to make headlines. We want this to be separated so that enough attention is put into it. If we put us under that same umbrella, again, we sink. You put them under the same umbrella, again, we sink. So we need this differentiation so that people will pay close attention. When that is done, you can now say, well, the North, the this, the that, this is how it's happening in the general North. But if not, we will just be a little spark. Keep in mind that our numbers have been dwindling and are continually dwindling. We need the security operatives to step up. We need the government to pay close attention, please. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Benedicta, but that's all we can take at this moment. We have to go now. Benedicta Kato, thank you. You're calling from Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital. Dachon Bagos, you're calling from Jos, Plateau State. And that's Unanawo, you're calling from Lagos, Nigeria. And Femi Jebode is in London in the United Kingdom. Thank you all for coming on board and sharing your thoughts.